Good morning and sliding into afternoon. Judy Allen here in San Antonio, Texas. And today it's all about keeping it simple or stepping it up. And our technique we're going to use today is stack and shuffle. It's a very quick and easy way to make 4 cards that anyone can do, whether it's holidays, I'm using holiday paper today, or any occasion type paper, right? So it's all about coordinating your paper and just doing it. It's very simple. So let's go down the hands and let's get started, right? Christmas is just around the corner. All right, so these are some of the things that I already stamped out, and I'll explain it all later. But I just want to show you, I actually am using 3 different stamp sets. So if you want to know, these are the 3 stamp sets I've used. Normally I try to stick to one, but I couldn't find the one I wanted to use this morning because company and we were sewing. We weren't making cards. So couldn't find it. So as soon as I went and made alternatives, naturally I find it. That's okay, right? Better late than never. Okay, so here are the instructions here that I'm giving you and what I'll be doing, and I've already pre-cut this for you, okay? Just to show you what it's going to look like. So this was originally a 4 by 5 1/4. I cut it first. It's 4 pieces of paper. I cut it at 2 3/4. Then I took the left stack here and cut it at 3 inches. And then I took the right stack here and cut it at 2 inches. And it's important to do that because that's what gives you the whole unique look of the stack and shuffle. Okay, so let's get going with card number 1. So when you shuffle, this is what you do. You take the first stack here on the right and you just take 1 and shuffle it under. Come to the stack here and you take 2, 1, 2 and shuffle it under. Alright, and then we're going to take this one here, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so each time you make a card, you should have one of the papers that you chose in one of the corners, right? So that's the way you know if you did it right or you didn't do it right. So I sometimes just go ahead and lay out my paper to make sure I didn't mess up, so we can do that. Just so I can show you, give you an idea how I do it. And so it just gives me sort of the lay of the land, right? So it gives me an idea of what it's going to look like. So that would be card number 1. Here comes card number 2. So card number 2 is going to be laid out like this. So what happens is out of all the cards, there is no card that looks exactly alike, right? It's going to all look different. So that's card number 2. Set that aside. Here comes card number 3. And it'll look like this. You know, if you're never sure, just go back and line all your paper back up and do it again. And that way you'll get confused. I have done that before, especially when I did a class. We cut up so much paper, it was easy to get confused. But you just go back to ground zero, right? Go back to the beginning and do it again and you'll get there, right? So there you go. Give you an idea of what we're going to do to get the 4 cards. Alright, so all we do now is, so that was basically, we started off with a 4 by 5 1/4. And you could easily use the back side of the paper, right? And I always like choices or options. Because, right, if you're just you're giving a card just to one person, they don't know what the other person's card looks like. So you can do it any way you want to. Now just sort of space it just as if I was doing a regular 4 by 5 1/4 piece here, and then I'm just going to butt this up right next to it, right? And that's just going to give me a very nice different look. But you can see I could just as easily have used the back paper here, because it's just as pretty. The only thing is, with the gold foiled paper that I have on my right here, when you flip it over, it's white. But when you use your DSP paper like this here, when you flip it over, it does have a different color. Okay? So see, it's just white. And then I'm just going to come on and keep on going. So basically, right, we're just doing this 4 times. Now because I used different stamps because I couldn't find my original one. So sewing was more important with my granddaughter over the weekend and keeping my stuff organized for making cards, right? It was all about choices. So, like I said, I used 3 different stamps. I'm going to just show you how we have 3 different choices, okay? So I'm going to make them, actually, I don't have to make all 3 cards. We can. We will in the end, right? But for demonstration purposes, you know, just sort of. Alright, so with my 3 different stamps, I came up with 3 different choices. So here was one. This is actually, if you want to know, this is gold foil, and this is actually leftover from a wreath I cut out. So if you watch me on Teach Me Nana, it's not uncommon. I've always tell you save your scraps because it's amazing what you'd use. Well, I really like this here. So I sat there and saved these and used it. And that's what I'm using it for today. Go figure, right? You wouldn't have thought when I did these to begin with I was going to do this. I didn't, but I knew I would use it for something because it was very unique looking. And I wasn't going to waste the gold foil paper. So I'm just going to put this on with dimensionals. And I could just as easily add ribbon. What I did with this particular stamp set, I'm just going to put it right here. Now that's what it looks like when I put it down, but then I'm going to turn around and put this on top of it. And I'm going to put this on with dimensionals too. Now I sat here, I stamped this, and then I actually, this was actually die cut with the layering circles dies. And then I actually colored in this part right here. So I did it in 2 different colors. I did one in red, and as you can see, I sat there and colored the leaves, had to color the leaves green, because it just didn't look right in red, right? And I'll put that there. Now I can add bling, I can add ribbon, so you'll have to let me know if you like the ribbon idea or not. Bling is always options, right? I've already sort of put Winka Stella on here. And just checking. Hello, Jennifer. So I can just as easily put this bow on here. I don't know if this is the color I'm going to want, because I got all kind of ribbons, right? I got blue, I've got green, I've got red. I don't know why I said blue. I do have blue. Green, red, I have gold ribbon. So it's just a matter on the size of ribbon you want. This is real skinny ribbon. I just want something maybe to just accent at the bottom. I don't know for sure if I want this or not. I can surely be influenced. I'm easily influenced. You know, because it's got a lot of gold on it. I really like the gold, but I could just as easily add this or a different color. So we'll think about that, right? And I'm going to set that aside. Alright, so if you have an opinion about that, let me know. And I'll go to the next one here, and we'll get ready to do another one. Same thing, right? I had to stop my pieces, but that's okay. We know where they're going, based on the size, right? So I'm going to stay with my original paper choices because I like that. You know, it's all about your preferences. Sometimes, you know, like we said before, I change my mind while I'm busy doing something, right? Because we have that right. We're creating. It's our creation that we're going to give to somebody. So it's our choice. And you know, sometimes I get these pieces turned around, but all you do is stack it next to where it belongs, and you'll know that you either got the right directions or not. This piece is one piece that sometimes I turn it sideways the wrong way. But when you go and put it up next to the paper and go to put it down, it'll clearly show you if you did it right or if you're doing it wrong. See, because I'm just butting it up right there. And so I'll know. And then I also know this one here, that the shorter piece is on top. But you can see, I could just as easily just put that right there. But I'm not, because that's not what I started out to do and want to do. That's what I wanted to do. Hi, Lourdes. I hope you had a nice weekend and all. We talked about you. Good things, good things. Always good things. Alright. We hope everybody's feeling better at your place too. Alright, and we're going to get this down right down here. So see, I never worry. You know, sometimes people are like, well, I don't know if I like all that together. Well, you know, by the time you put down your embellishments or stuff like that, and like in this particular case, so we're going to have choices here. All right. So here's another message that I did. And this one says tidings of comfort and joy. So I'm going to stack it just like the other one, right? But it's very plain looking. So we are going to add to it. Yay! So maybe we can do lunch soon, Lord, since that you guys are feeling better. So we're just gonna embellish it, right? Now I actually pulled out these leaves. These are gold leaves, and actually, if you can tell, they're actually two different colors. So we have choices, right? It's all about choices for me. I don't know about you, but it's all about choices. If you don't want to make choices and you just want me to tell you how to do it, that's fine. I can do that too. But for me, it's about choices. So see, whatever we're going to put, I usually put it over where all the stuff connects like that. And it sort of breaks it up where it's not too much of anything. And I'm going to put this on here too. Now, I'm going to, since I did go ahead and stamp it. All right, because I wanted to be able to put this stuff on here. And I'm going to have to use glue, right? To put the leaves on and to put... The leaves looked a little lonely, and if you looked at the one I just made, I really liked the holly leaves, you know, with the green and the red. So, since I didn't have that stamp and had a different stamp, I still wanted some holly leaves, or at least a lot of holly leaves, right? And then some red there to go with it too. Now I could just easily do green, right? I did with this here, with the stamp. I actually used the evening evergreen to match and coordinate with this. Now these leaves, just to let you know, actually are two colors. You've got a dark gold and you have a lighter gold. So truly it's just whatever your preference is, right? I'm going to go with the darker gold only because I've used more of the other one than I have this one. So I need to use some of these up. That's still a lighter gold. Let me find a darker one. There we go. I think that's darker. And it just depends on the lighting. Alright, so I'm just going to put a little dab of glue on the end of here to get these guys to stick. And it's up to you if you want the shorter end or the longer end, where you want it, right? If I can get my glue to come out. I'm going to be careful, I don't want too much glue, right? I want it to be able to dry. I don't want to have to wait till Christmas for it to dry. Okay, so... I did do that. Okay, did not mean to do that. Alright, that's exactly what I was concerned about. Alright, let me set that aside. I just created a big mess. And I'm going to take this and... Yes, one thing about this silicone mat is, if you do something like that, I can wipe it across my silicone mat, and when it dries, I can get it off. So I'm not going to sweat the small stuff. That's small stuff right now. I did get some glue right there. Okay, I'm going to wipe it off there too. Alright. Hey, compared to everything we did with sewing this weekend, a little extra glue is nothing. Nothing. Just wipe it off and keep moving. When you're dealing with 7 yards of fabric, I'm telling you. Okay, so I'm just going to put it here. Now, this is actually, what I've done here is I've actually taken, it comes like this, and actually it comes bigger than this. I really like these. See here? It's sort of like a wood. And all I've done is came and I colored it, alright? I'm going to need 3 of them. And it's up to you. I actually colored these in dark, and I've already put, if you can see it, Wink of Stella. So the glitter you see there is Wink of Stella. So I already did these in dark red. I'm going to do this, the other side, in light red. And I personally can't see a lot of difference. You might can. And I could easily use this stick for something else, so I'm not going to get rid of it because I will use it for something else. I'm just going to color it. This is just easy for me because I didn't have any of my special peeps take my markers because we were too busy sewing. So there you go. I get to use them until they take them. Alright, so I will use my Wink of Stella. Now, the only thing about using your Wink of Stella is because this is watercolor, it will pick up the color. You'll still get your Wink of Stella on there and all, but because it's wet and moist, it'll do that to your Wink of Stella. And all you have to do, I actually just colored the wood earlier because I knew it was going to be a color of red. So woodish, it's not wood, it's like a pressed particle wood or something, I don't know. So, but you still want to make sure you don't have any more red there, right? Because Wink of Stella, the tip is wet, and we're dealing with watercolor inks. So you want to be sure to do that to get the color off. So the next item I color, I don't do that. All right. So all I'm going to do with these is I'm just going to put these on here so I have some berries. I really don't have any berries that are very big, so I'm just going to put them on here. I cut it off, so it was. I'm going to show you. I'm fixing to cut another one off because I want three here. I want three here, just like I did the others. Or like when you stamp it, it does it, right? And I'm just going to put them together. They can go any way you want them, right? So, very easy. It's no big deal. I'm actually going to take one of the darker ones because it looks like I got the dark and the light there. And you just cut it like that. It's not, I'm only put my hand there because I didn't want it to like go across anywhere. Alright, now so if that bothers you, that does not bother me. I know nobody's going to inspect my card and go, oh, you know, you got a dot there that wasn't colored in red. Well, if they are like that, you know what, I'm going to look forward to their card that they send me. I'm going to pull a Grandma Ann and say, well, you can critique as soon as I receive yours that you've made, right? So you can spread them out any way you want. I'm going to spread this one out just a little bit further, right? Versus buttoning it up right next. But it's still wet, so I can still move it if I want to, right? So for me, I just want to get a little bit of the red there. It's going to take it a moment to dry, but you know, that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to add a little bit of holly there with those little circles, and this card is complete. Alright, so we'll make the third card. Alright, got the same thing, but I'm going to do differently, right? I'm not going to do the exact same thing. Alright, because we got all these choices, and I'm all about my choices today. Alright, so let me even move this out of the way a second. I feel like I'm a little crowded. Now, I always work in a tighter space. And part of that, I think, is because I'm not very tall. Okay, so same thing, right? We're just lining it up. You know, and if you wanted to just put a tag on here that just said Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, and that's it, that is fine. You know, it's all about making fun, simple, beautiful, quick cards. Right? Let the paper do the work for you. And this paper, all of these papers have gold foil on it. If you can't tell, I'll show you. As soon as I get these up, I'll show you the gold foil. Every one of these has gold foil. And they're very pretty on their own. But when you combine them, they're even prettier. So there you go. So everything's going to depend on, right? It's going to depend on, now like this one looks like it's a little bit longer for whatever reason, so I'm just going to gently pull that up. I'm going to line it on the bottom. And you know, if you get a situation like that, then just overlap it, okay? And I was just looking if this one looks okay, but if your edges right here, just take your scissors and clean it up, okay? Nobody's going to know and nobody's going to make a fuss. Alright, so we still got our gold, right? And this one says, may your season be merry and bright. So, we're going to do a little change up on how I'm going to arrange that. So, see, the reason why the first one was so sweet, because it had it all right there, and I just added my Wink of Stella, right? So, this one's not, so I'll add a little bit more, but that's it, you know? My paper was already cut, because the fact is I had, this was left over for some wreaths I made, as you can see. And then I'm just taking this and I'm going to put this over it. So the only people that know that this was left over from my wreath, gold paper, don't want to lose it, because anybody watches the video. So somebody that receives the card and they didn't watch the video, they're not going to know it. Really, they're not going to care, right? Because it's all about, right? It's all about creating, sharing, and giving. It really is. Really, really is. Now this one I made, let's see where my bow was. I had a minute ago. Because I might like the bow on here. Just to give it a little something, right? I could just easily add the leaves again. I could actually add the leaves and put the bow in the middle, really. Let's see how that'll look. So for me, I lay it out, right? If I'm not sure what I want, sometimes I know exactly what I want, and even when I know exactly what I want, sometimes it doesn't look like I envisioned it, right? So, it's all for me is I just sort of lay it out and see how it's going to look. Now, see, I'm not crazy about the bow in that. I do like the bow. I don't think it's going to go there. I don't think it's going to go there either. So let's see what other options I have. Ooh, I have some sparkly. Alright, let's put some sparkly on here. I'm going to go ahead and use these, but this time I'm going to use the sparkly. So let's see how we like the sparkly. A lot of sparkle, really. Alright, so we're just going to do the same thing here. Except this time I have a longer leaf and a shorter leaf. And there's all kind of leaves in there. They're either light gold or a dark gold, and they got long leaves and short leaves. Okay, I'm just going to put it there. And then I am going to sit there and take this red bling right here. And I'm just going to put it right here. And I'll get my 3 little dots. Get that one. So see, it just gives a little different look, right? But I still got my 3 little leaves, still got my holly, and it's just simple. Alright, so I'm going to leave it at that. I can do the 4th one. I was trying to keep it under 30 minutes, so we're still doing good then. Alright, let me keep rolling then. Alright, so I can show you all 4 at the end and see what you think. You'll have to let me know which one you like the best. And you might be receiving that. You might just receive it. So choose wisely. Choose what you like best so that you can receive that one. Alright, same thing, right? All we're done. And so when I get through, I'm going to show you how I've got 4 cards, same paper, but they all look different because of the fact that we did the shuffle. And that's the cool thing about the shuffle is same paper, but because you shuffled it around, you get 4 different looks. I'm going to talk myself into making this again and flipping the paper over. Right? So Lourdes, message me when would be a good time we can do lunch. I know we're overdue lunch. Okay, now so this one here is I get this one a little bit further from the side, so I just overlapped it, right? I just overlapped it. Nobody's gonna know unless they watch the video that I changed it a little bit, right? Just because I didn't do the paper quite right on the left side here. And I want to equal it up, so I'm just making a slight change. Okay? So that'll still butt up there, and you can see how I've just sort of even that up there. Alright, so this is our last one. This one was the original one I did. I actually stamped this in evergreen, which is the color of this here. And then I sat there and just used, this is the Parakeet Party, which is pretty darn close to lime green, and I like lime green. So I just colored that in, and then just as I did with the wood piece, I colored that in with the little markers on it. I just added Wink of Stella. Now, the other one I didn't need to add Wink of Stella because it wasn't there, anything to color. I canned this one, alright? And I personally was just fine with this. You know, sometimes we think we have to bling it to death, but we don't. This is just as pretty with bling as without bling. And if somebody wants bling on it, they can come add bling. I didn't. But I did add Wink of Stella, so I added just a little bit of Wink of Stella and I can do it over again. It won't matter. Because Wink of Stella will do that. Okay, so see, this is our 4th card. And I'll just add a little Wink of Stella. I think I did already. It's hard to tell. I'm just gonna do like that, just dab it. They didn't pick any red up on that one, which was good because I really didn't want my holly leaves. So you can see there's no color. Okay, yay. Alright, so look at here. So this is, let's see if we can get it in the light. See, you can see the reflection in the light. Everything's got gold foil on it. And this one here has got gold foil on it too. So just to show you, it all had gold foil. So here are, and I can move this out of the way, here are our 4 cards created with the one paper. With one stack and shuffle, here's our 4 cards. And there you go. So, let's see if I can get them a little bit higher for you. Move some of my stuff there out of the way for you. And there you go. There's your all 4 different cards for you with the stack and shuffle. So this was the dimensions, in case you didn't catch it to begin with. So, with that, I hope you enjoyed that. And if you did, be sure to share and make someone's day, right? Because it's all about creating, sharing, and giving. All right, so be sure to do that. And we're also out there on YouTube if you want to watch the videos later. And we're also on Pinterest and Instagram, so you can go out there and see the cards. That's where they'll be. All right, so be blessed. Go out there, create, share, and give. I look forward to seeing you next week on Keep It Simple or Step It Up. Judy Allen, San Antonio, and I'm out of here. Bye.